It's a very good afternoon. Welcome to NewsBlitz on ZTN. I'm Blessing Munatse. Thanks so much for joining us. Here's a look at our top stories. Zim engages South Africa over latest xenophobic attacks. Experts want COVID-19 restrictions eased. Ja Preza Makadzi single expected month end. And in sport, City take on Tenax. Zimbabwe is engaging South Africa over a spate of violence targeted at foreigners in that country. This week, a Zimbabwean was stoned to death and burned by a vigilante group claiming to be implementing Operation Dudula, a Zulu word meaning drive back, under which they want all foreigners from African countries to return to their countries. Zimbabwe's Consul General to Johannesburg, Melody Chaurura, speaks to ZTN.
We woke up to the devastating news of the stoning and burning of one of our nationals in Diepsloot on 7 April 2022. As I speak, the consulate team is on the ground engaging with the host government authorities with a view to establish facts on the ground. Efforts are also currently underway to arrange a visit to the family to extend our sincere condolences during this difficult time, and also to find ways in which we can support them. According to the information gathered so far, the deceased has been identified as Elvis Nyati from Kezi, Chief Malaba area.
Health experts in Zimbabwe are calling for the easing of COVID-19 restrictions. This comes as COVID-19 cases and deaths have been declining significantly. According to statistics released by the Ministry of Health and Childcare, as at the 1st of March 2022, Zimbabwe had 4,744 active cases and 0 deaths. The numbers slightly increased on the 8th of March with 5,279 active cases and a single death recorded. The following week had 5,161 active cases and a single death, and on the 22nd of March, the figures dropped to 4,433 active cases and 3 deaths. During the last week of March, the country had 3,059 active cases and a single death, and as at the 7th of April, the country had 1,831 active cases. Dr. Monashe Chimene, COVID-19 department head at the Chinhoyi Provincial Hospital, speaks.
From what I'm seeing, because I'm currently heading the COVID department at Chinhoyi Hospital, even our admissions have gone down quite significantly. Most of the patients who are testing positive for COVID, probably 2 or 3 per week, they are not that bad. And I would also like to think that the government would need to revisit those strict conditions regarding lockdowns. To a certain extent, I think the vaccination program has helped us.
Health expert Dr. Norman Matara also weighed in.
We think that we do not have a significant number of active cases, and with the increase in people getting vaccination, I think at the moment it is time for us to actually relax the COVID-19 restrictions that are in the country. We have seen in other countries, even in South Africa, that the regulations have been relaxed. The issue of wearing of masks outside closed spaces has been relaxed and so forth. So I think this is something that the ministry and the COVID task force team has to look into.
Calls to ease COVID-19 restrictions come against a backdrop of countries such as South Africa that have lifted restrictions like the mandatory wearing of face masks. But government is on record saying it will not be pressured into lifting of restrictions.
Always say as Zimbabwe, we're guided by science, we're guided by the statistics on the ground. We do not just copy other countries. They quite clearly have their reasons for doing what they have done. We as Zimbabwe, we meet every single week. The Interministerial Task Force look at our numbers and decide on how to move forward. You saw yesterday there was the issue of scrapping off the PCR testing because we are now focusing on the vaccination, which gives you the direct protection.
Looking at education, Zimbabwe's government is working with private players to ensure the digital gap in schools is reduced. Information, Communication Technology and Postal and Courier Services Deputy Minister Dungumuzi Phuti says they are also engaging mobile network operators for them to develop a subsidized data bundle for learners. He says this will assist learners in their studies.
We are working to try and see how Zimren and Zanet will work together to further subsidize the cost of data for learners. Having said that, the regulator itself, POTRAS, is also monitoring this and making sure that we succeed in that direction.
Now, it is every parent's dream to have their child excel at school and more so passing with flying colors. This symbolizes effort and dedication, while the norm is the pupils sit for 3 subjects for their advanced level examinations. Tiziveishe Machkavira, Tinashe Makota and Tinotenda Maitire, as well as Sandra Ncube, decided to test their mental aptitude by sitting for 4 A-level subjects. They subsequently performed exceptionally well, and ZTN caught up with some of the students.
It was a difficult phase that I've experienced in my life, but I'm glad that due to the Lord's grace, hard work, encouragement and talent, I was able to sail through with 19 points.
As we all know, 2021 was a difficult year with the COVID pandemic and teachers going on strike. This has forced me to wake up every morning from 4 a.m. to 7 a.m. reading. Hard work really pays.
Well, the students say despite getting their best results, the journey was far from being easy.
But I worked hard because I knew what I wanted in life. And funny enough, I always wanted to be a lawyer, but I was a commercial student. People never really understood why I was doing that. But I thought I was going to end up studying law. But I'm now considering studying cybersecurity.
I got 20 points. The examinations were very difficult for me, but I'm glad that I made it. We faced many challenges. The lockdown that occurred in 2020 and the colors that were introduced gave us a very difficult time on preparing them in a very short space of time.
Local authorities in Zimbabwe have been told to make joint efforts in coming up with uniform bylaws in order to deal with unlawful activities such as illegal settlements in their respective jurisdictions. This was said by local government Minister July Moyo during a recent meeting with representatives from urban councils across the country. His remarks come in the wake of most local authorities using archaic laws, most of which were enacted during the colonial era.
To put things right, you must go and make laws. Kwenye koko kwamati mnunoita joint council. Vanhu vazive kuti anyone who builds without a plan, we will destroy. We will charge. Motowana mari yokuti murane chijoint chenyu ichocho nokucharge vanhu. Because every bylaw must end up saying what is the penalty. What are the fees? What are the service charges that you want to derive from the people? That's what the duty of making laws.
One common ill that has blighted most local authorities are illegal settlements. Enacting relevant and up-to-date bylaws may assist council in fighting the scourge. Minister Moyo revealed that in Caledonia, an irregular settlement on the outskirts of Harare, there were over 30,000 households who did not have title deeds to their properties. Earlier this year, government committed to regularize such settlements in order to offer reprieve to home seekers who have fallen victim to land barons.
So in Caledonia, officially 27,000 households, unofficially 33,000 households. None of them has any title deeds. They have built. Who allocated them can be a problem. Who is fleecing them and taking money from them? Is the local authority benefiting from the land development levy? If they are not, who is benefiting?
We look at a concerning trend as police in Zimbabwe are worried by an increase in murder cases being committed by suspected mentally challenged patients. In one incident, a 77-year-old man, Mutinini Nengo, from Bikita in Zimbabwe's Masvingo province, was allegedly murdered by his own son, Austin Nengo, a mental patient, in full view of his physically challenged wife. In another case, 52-year-old Taimuchkai Ndlovu of Tarasanago village under Chief Matevaidze in Berengwa is on the run after allegedly killing his brother by striking him several times on the head with a shovel.
Mentally ill person or mentally challenged persons, they killed mostly family members, people whom they came across as they are moving, and in most situations the weapons being used, they are axes, iron bars, just lethal weapons. And with this current trend, it means we are recording an increase. In actual fact, we recorded 11% increase compared to the year 2020. So it means the society has a challenge. The society has a role to play in terms of looking after mental challenged persons.
The Premier Service Medical Aid Society, PISMAS, has been told to stick to its mandate of ensuring that its members and government workers have access to comprehensive health care. Government workers, most of whom are PISMAS members, are failing to access health care as health facilities do not accept the PISMAS Medical Scheme membership card. Some facilities ask for co-payments due to shortfalls in payments by PISMAS. Government says a deployment of members' contributions to other ventures has led to the medical aid scheme failing at its mandate. Secretary of the Public Service Commission, Ambassador Jonathan Wutaunashe, told journalists on Friday that PISMAS should urgently return to its primary objective.
Any tendencies, any developments that may have transpired that divert the focus away from the primary role that PISMAS is supposed to play in support of its members. That where course correction is required, to go back to the fundamentals, to go back to the reason why PISMAS was created. That course correction becomes urgent so that PISMAS remains true to its mission.
Fancy yourself winning a car? Zimbabwe's premier retail store competition, the OK Grand Challenge Jackpot promotion, is bigger, back and better in 2022. It is running under the theme Race to Happiness. Prices of selected commodities have been reduced by at least 13%. OK Zimbabwe Group Chief Executive Max Karombo speaks.
We're going to give back to our shoppers and to Zimbabwe. Our offer to them is that come to OK Grand Challenge promotion and you will save.
He added that besides the big prize of a double cab Ford Ranger worth 78,000 United States dollars, customers will be in for winning weekly prizes.
We have over 40 partners and suppliers who have each offered a car to our shoppers. And that is fantastic in this very tough economic environment, that we have suppliers who are still willing to offer something and plant smiles on our shoppers.
Cuban ambassador Camilina Ramirez Rodriguez paid a farewell courtesy call on President Emmerson Mnangagwa on Friday morning after a 3-year term of office. Ms. Rodriguez says her stay in Zimbabwe was fruitful.
My stay in Zimbabwe has been wonderful. I make a lot of work, to put my contribution to how to consolidate and strengthen our relationship. I don't have any complaint. I receive all the support from the government, from the ZANU-PF, for the common people, ordinary people. If my mission is successful, it's because of Zimbabwe.
We take you to Zimbabwe's second largest city, Bulawayo, where organizers of Zimbabwe's premier business expo, the Zimbabwe International Trade Fair, ZTF, say this year's edition may be oversubscribed. To date, 428 exhibitors have booked their participation, with projections that the bookings may overspill by over 100 participants. ZTF Chief Executive Dr. Nicholas Ndebele expressed satisfaction with response from exhibitors, and the 62nd edition annual showpiece will be held from the 26th to the 38th of April under the theme Rethink, Reimagine, Reinvent Value Chains for Economic Development.
Excited by the pace of preparations towards the ZTF 2022, and in particular the manner in which the market has favorably responded to our call for reinvented, reimagined exhibition. And so far, in terms of the numbers, we are currently at 471 exhibitors that have expressed interest. And in fact, we are actually experiencing a likely overflow of 128 exhibitors who we are still trying to find space for. And we have 12 countries that have so far expressed interest.
The Commission of Inquiry to investigate High Court Judge Justice Edith Mushore's absence from work has been sworn in by President Emmerson Mnangagwa at State House this morning. Justice Mushore went AWOL in June 2022 and has not been reporting to work since then or communicated formally her reasons for being absent. The Judicial Services Commission recommended that a tribunal be set up to investigate the judge's case. The commission is comprised of Yvonne Mashora and Charles Warara. It is chaired by retired Judge Justice Matthews Cheda, who spoke to ZTN.
If you are not coming to your work, you must have a reason. That could be a good reason or a bad reason, but a reasonable reason. And as of now, I don't know why the Honorable Judge has not attended to her duties. We'll have to find out. So as of now, we don't know. We presume that she has a good reason. She will tell us.
Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Minister Ziyambi speaks.
So a judge's removal is in terms of the Constitution, whereby the Judicial Service Commission will inform the President of the circumstances that this person has not been coming to work, and that is a serious thing to do. And when the President is informed, the Constitution obliges him to set up a commission of inquiry to look into those issues.
Meanwhile, President Emmerson Mnangagwa received another Commission of Inquiry report today on Bulawayo High Court Judge Justice Thompson Mabikwa, who was suspended in 2021. Justice Mabikwa was suspended for alleged misconduct after his nude pictures were circulated on social media. Chair of the tribunal, Justice November Machia, said the investigations went well.
Let me put it this way, there was cooperation from the judge and his lawyers. There was cooperation.
We head to South Africa, where the government has cut down fuel tax after the latest hike in fuel prices that has been blamed on the sanctions imposed on Russian oil. The price of petrol increased between 28 and 36 cents per litre, while that of diesel rose by between R1.52 and R1.68 per litre. Automobile Association of South Africa National spokesperson Leighton Beard speaks.
The impact of those increases could have been a lot worse had the government not taken that R1.50 off those levies. It would have been almost double the price of what we are getting at the moment. So government has cushioned the blow a little bit more in the case of petrol, but they certainly haven't taken away the pain, especially in the case of diesel.
A stranded Greenland shark found off the coast of Cornwall in southwest England died from meningitis, according to a post-mortem. This is the first evidence of the disease in the species, and the Greenland shark is incredibly rare, with the species able to live to more than 400 years old. The 4-meter-long shark was about 100 years old, and it is not known how the shark got the infection. In a bizarre incident, a 51-year-old businessman in India set his 25-year-old son ablaze after an argument broke out about their business. Surendra Kumar set his son Aprit Setia on fire after he accused the latter of failing to run his paint fabrication business properly. Police arrested the suspect yesterday, hours after his injured son succumbed to the burns. Well, in the arts, a multi-award-winning musician Ja Praiser has described South African singer Makadzi as super energetic. Makadzi was willing to go a full night in the studio. Ja Praiser admits he could not cope. The two got into the studio at 8 p.m. on Monday to record their second single after their debut collaboration Kokova, which was released late in 2021. Ja Praiser told ZTN that on the night they put till 4 a.m. and Makadzi was willing to do another track while the dangerous singer was worn out. Ja Praiser says the single will probably be released by the end of April.
Taketa, if you remember, Taketa Kokova. During lockdown, so project yangobuda ikabva yangoenda vanhu vakaifarira but taifila kuti isong raifanira video, you know, and ipapo ndofanira kuti asha I think ndofanira kuzoita song yangu now yatinozoita nevideo angoti po and that was it. So pakauya ndopakazongoti sha oyo song uri kupitira mawex. So zvakazoitika energy yamakadzi mawani ndochinhu chekutanga chandakaona kubva pakasvika pashona 8 tinozorora until 4 a.m. hatisati tabvumirana tichasipa songs tari kuti chii because tinofanira kuwira tese titu. If everything goes well, towards end of April. Yeah, towards end of April.
Well, weekday 11 kicks off this afternoon in the Casalaga Premier Soccer League. For that and more sports news coming up next. Well, the Casalaga Premier Soccer League weekday 11 fixtures kick off this afternoon with Harare City taking on prisons and correctional side Tenex at the National Sports Stadium. We get more from our ZTN correspondent Thaddeus Manyepo for the latest on today's match.
Obviously, this is going to be a very exciting match given that both teams are at the other side of the log. They are obviously fighting relegation, as we say, given that they are 12th and 13th respectively. Harare City is on 13th position, while Tenex are at position 12, but they are only separated by 2 points. But going into this match, obviously Tenex are the happier side, given that they have won their last 2 matches against Cape United as well as ZPC Kariba. But Harare City also smarting from a heavy defeat against ZPC Kariba. So going into this match, I think Tenex are working with a spring in their step, given that they are one of the sides that was expected to be the whipping boys of the league. So going in this match, I think Tenex have got an upper hand over Harare City. But defensive-wise, Tenex is has got one of the worst defense along with Wawa. So going into this match, I think we can expect an interesting match.
Dynamos' former Ngezi Platinum Stars duo of Frank Makarati and Keith Morera have warned their former paymasters to expect no favours from them. The Harare Giants clash with Ngezi Platinum in a league match at Baobab tomorrow afternoon, and the two who made their names playing for Ngezi Platinum are excited with the prospect of meeting their former employer. Here's Thaddeus Manyepo with more.
Tungotamba simatamba kutama make bana just be short kutanzi generate mutambo saka tungotosa mu game ende tutasira kuti tikunda game pani setunga kwangu ndingoti kwatikasira with the current form that we have tungoramba tingo continue because considering Ngezi so far in our new coaches, so it's going to be a new structure, a new philosophy. It's not the same way at Kambushana final, but now we have to go for 3 points.
That's all we have for you on NewsBlitz this afternoon. Thanks so much for making us your choice. You can keep in touch with our programming on our website at ztn.co.zw, or you can follow us on social media at ZTN News on Twitter, at ZTN on YouTube and Instagram. World in 5 is coming up next.